Here is the second kind of question that you will see on your quiz tomorrow, and that is a word problem that represents a quadratic equation, or that can be represented with a quadratic equation. So let's see. The width of a rectangle is 5 units more than the length. If the area of the rectangle is 50 square units, what are the length and width of the rectangle? So let's see. I'm going to draw a rectangle first. I always like to understand these problems with a picture. So if it's describing a rectangle, I'm going to draw the rectangle. It says the width is 5 more than the length. So which one is my shorter side? Well, the length is shorter if the width is more than the length, right? So the length is going to be x, and then the width is going to be 5 units more than x, and we write that as x plus 5. Okay, so we have the length and the width, and now we know that the area is 50 square units. Okay, so it says, what are the length and width of the rectangle? Well, if we wanted to find it, some of you might be able to do it in your head, but really what's important to me is you're able to write the equation. Okay, that's what's important to me right here, is that you can write the equation that we would use to solve for x. So we're thinking about the formula for area, and that would be length multiplied by width equals area. So length in this case was x, width was x plus 5, so we'll do x times x plus 5, and the area we were given is 50. So here is your equation, and for tomorrow's quiz I will not have you solve, I will just have you identify the correct equation. If you wanted to solve, let me just show you that part. That does come up sometimes, it just happens to not come up on your quiz tomorrow. We would simplify this equation, so we would distribute x times x plus 5 is x squared plus 5x. Okay, and then we could complete the square, or we could check if we could factor. Since our x term is not even, I would choose to check if I could factor, so I'm going to subtract 50 to get 0, because we can only use factoring to solve if our equation is equal to 0. So we have x squared plus 5x minus 50 equals 0. And then trying to factor this, so we are trying to come up with two binomials that we could multiply to get x squared plus 5x minus 50. So we know that to get x squared, we multiply x times x, and then we have negative 50. Two factors of 50 are 10 and 5. If I multiply 10 times 5, I would get positive 50. I want to get negative 50. So one of those has to be negative. How am I going to decide which one should be negative? Well, I know that these two numbers are going to multiply to get my two x terms in those two empty boxes. So I'm going to think about what I need my x terms to add up to. I need them to add up to positive 5. So the bigger number is going to be positive, and that's 10. Smaller number will be negative, so that's negative 5. So now we have negative 5x and 10x inside. And our factors are out here are x plus 10 and x minus 5. And now I can solve each of these. So x plus 10 equals 0. X minus 5 equals 0 using our zero product rule, which we've discussed in the past. Use inverse operation, subtract 10 to get 0. We get x equals negative 10. Add 5 to get 0. Add 5 on the other side, and we get x equals 5. And we discussed in class that we would choose to use this positive value, x equals 5, because we're discussing the dimensions of an actual item. It can possibly be negative 10 units. Okay, it's just going to be that positive answer, which is 5. So going back to our picture of our rectangle, we got x is 5, so the length is 5, and the width is going to be x plus 5. If x is 5, that's 5 plus 5, so our width is 10.